In space, no one can eat ice cream. Welcome to I Hope You Suffer.
I don't think that's true. I feel
I
like that's
mean,
demonstrably false.
I don't know. I feel like if you're actually floating in space, that's probably true. If you're in a spaceship or, like, whatever, you probably eat some ice cream. At least
You
astronaut ice
gotta
cream.
you gotta put the ice cream in your helmet before you put the helmet on.
Kit Science Corner this week. Can
Yeah,
you eat ice cream in
ice cream
space?
space.
Welcome to episode 30 of I Hope You Suffer. My name is Nathan.
I'm Kit.
And this week we watched Killer Klowns from Outer Space from 1988, which blew my mind that this movie is like 30 years old and still looks
The best.
fucking amazing. The effects of this movie are still pretty fucking great. What is your history with this movie?
It scared the shit out of me as a child, and I did not watch it again until like 5 years ago. So the little things in the like laundry hamper.
Oh, yeah.
Whenever she's in the shower and she gets out and like goes to toss something in there, and it's like the weird like clown snake things.
I always referred to them as like what's their name? I think it's maybe Helen from Evil Dead 2.
Oh yeah.
Like, it just looks like that fucking weird extended neck with the head on it.
Yep.
Um,
Yeah, it scared the shit out of me as a child.
I mean, in general, clowns are fucking creepy assholes, so
Yeah, and they start cocooning you in cotton candy.
that part doesn't sound too bad, but I'll eat my way out. I for a long time, I remember having a friend in high school that was like obsessed with this movie, and I remember watching it once and just being like, "This is fucking stupid. Like, what are you doing?" And then like years later, rewatching it, and I was like, "This movie is kind of amazing." And now it's one of those ones that I just rewatch like at least once every 2 months or so. But like, usually it'll be one of those things I'll just put on as kind of like a background thing.
Yeah.
And this was the first time in pretty decent amount of time that I've kind of just sat and like just sat with it and paid attention to it, and it's just so good. It holds up so well. There's also, I think we talked about it on a previous episode, a sequel coming out from Sci-Fi that I feel like is not going to be very good.
There's absolutely no way.
Like,
Unless they jam Lance Henriksen in it, like they do with a
everything
bunch
else.
of sci-fi films. I'd be into that.
I'm into the idea of a sequel. I don't know how I feel about Sci-Fi spearheading it, just because all of the Sci-Fi stuff is kind of
Bad.
purposefully bad. And I kind of hope they don't, because I guess they got the rights to that and Critters. So,
Yeah, like around the same time.
which is why I was thinking about it after we recorded the Critters A New Binge episode. I think that's why Shudder broke it up into episodes, is I think Sci-Fi got the rights to the movies, and so I think the way Shudder got around it was by making it a TV show. So, I don't know. I definitely am interested to see what the sequel will be, but I don't know. I'm also skeptical with Sci-Fi being involved.
I hope it includes or involves a clown-human hybrid,
Oh, yes.
because the president clown fucked some lady.
I'm fucking on board with that. I mean, I don't know. Like, it's got pretty much all of everybody, like, returning. So, I don't know. It might be good. I hope Sci-Fi kind of just lets them do what they want with it instead of being involved. So it's not like Sharknado.
I feel like there's not going to be any kind of budget put towards it, and it's going to wind up like their Pumpkinhead sequels.
I mean, I don't know. Like this
Like
original
like
movie,
they're fine, but
this original movie only had like a $2 million budget, and
that's like $80 million today.
yeah, but like also like some of the stuff I was reading about it was like the Kyoto brothers that like directed and wrote and kind of whatever through the whole thing.
Yeah.
Like they built all of those puppets on their own without money from the movie. Like they just did that with their own money.
For fun.
Yeah, like I think they were like, instead of using any of the budget for the puppets, they ended up doing all of the clown shit themselves. Which is kind of astonishing because they look phenomenal.
Also horrifying that you would just
God.
do that on your own.
Well, I mean, I don't think they were just doing it and they were like, we could make a movie. I think they were doing it for the movie, but
I don't know, man.
that's a good point. Like, they might just be creepy clown jerks too.
Unlike the Space Clown guys. Space Clown guys need to get their shit together.
Yeah, no shit. So this movie was directed by Stephen Chiodo and then written by Charles and Stephen Chiodo, and kind of uncredited writer is their third brother, Edward. One of the interesting things about them that I didn't realize until I was looking up stuff for this movie, I guess they designed and helped build all of the original Critters puppets.
Oh, yeah.
Which, like, I had, like, no idea. They have, like, some pretty fucking amazing credits to their name. Like, I always just know them from this movie. And then, like, apparently they've worked on, like, The Simpsons, doing some, like, stop motion animation and puppet work. And, like, some episode.
Interesting.
Kind of some other stuff. And, like, Stephen Chiodo and I think maybe Charles were producers on Freaked and helped do, like, I think puppet work on that, or like makeup work, which Freaked is amazing. If people haven't seen it, it's kind of hard to come by at this point, but I guess there's Alex Winter said there's like a good Blu-ray coming soon.
I managed to snag a Blu-ray from several years ago. I don't know if it's still in print anymore. I would doubt it.
Yeah, it's not. But like I said, Alex Winter.
Go me.
Alex Winter said there's like I think the term he used was better quality version of Blu-ray coming soon. I've recently stumbled across it used on DVD for like $60, and I was like, oh god, why do I not have money?
I see a extremely important credit to their name, and that is Ernest Scared Stupid.
Yes, that was my next one. I recently watched that again, and because that's pretty much just what I do now, is just watch the fucking Ernest movies.
Of course.
The monsters in that movie are legitimately gross and like kind of terrifying.
Yes, the main troll guy. They're trolls, right? I can't remember.
Yeah, something like that.
He is just the snottiest, grossest looking thing.
Oh, it rules so much. Like, watching that movie in, like, a binge with the rest of them, it's kind of amazing how dark that movie is.
Yes.
As opposed to how the rest of them are just dark because they are super racist.
Ernest almost gets murdered in a trash compactor. Like, that's the first thing that happens in the movie.
And it's also just, like, these monsters of essentially murdering kids.
I mean, yeah, there's also that,
but yeah, no one wants to see Ernest crushed in a trash
compactor. I'd rather see all the kids die than Ernest.
It's a shame that he died, because I would fucking love audio commentaries on those movies at this point.
Yes, I'd be super curious to hear.
Yeah. Especially just, like, the later ones that went straight to, like, DVD, like Slam Dunk Ernest and shit. So this movie stars Grant Kramer as Mike Tobacco, which is the best name. Suzanne Snyder as Debbie Stone, who is our Seinfeld reference this episode. She was in 2 episodes as 2 different characters.
Oh, dang.
She was in the Pie episode, which I can't exactly remember which one that one is, but she's also in The Limo, which is the one where Elaine and Jerry are with like the communist dude.
Yes.
In the limo. Fuck, I can't, like, the Pie one sounds real familiar, but I can't remember.
I'm trying to think.
I remember it has something to do with Jerry's girlfriend and not wanting to eat apple pie from monks, but I can't remember what like the big overall plot is.
It was because the chef there doesn't wash his hands, right?
Yeah, I think so. It's been a while because they were both like real early episodes.
Yeah,
which are hit or miss, like the first 2 or 3 seasons. John Allen Nelson as Dave, John Vernon as Curtis Mooney, and then Michael Siegel and Peter Lacassi as the Terenzi brothers, who are the highlight of this movie, besides the clowns. So this movie opens with another in a long line of the best theme songs of all time.
So good.
I didn't realize I was talking to Shane Mathis about this movie earlier, and he brought up that it's by the Dickies, which I did not realize.
Yeah, I did not know that either.
Which, the Dickies are kind of gross old punk dudes that say kind of gross shit, but I just was not aware of that. But this theme song is pretty fucking awesome. I am gonna try and find a version and put it in this episode somewhere. You're kind of open with general like city activity as Officer Mooney is like driving around, and you see Big Top Burger for the first time, which looks like a terrible restaurant.
There's 0% chance that it's good.
Yeah, it looks very sketchy, and then especially when you see it later with that little girl, it just looks like not great. Eventually you make it to, what is it, top of the hill? Top of the mountain? Whatever the makeout point is called.
Makeout town.
Yeah, it's like top of the something. I can't remember exactly what they call it. I am trying to go off this movie as best as I can from memory as opposed to notes to see if I can. People that don't know, I've worked nights for 19 years, so my memory is completely shot from being sleep deprived all of the time.
These things happen.
Yeah.
I'm sleep deprived just because I just don't sleep.
Yeah, kind of same.
It's self deprivation.
I'm always like, I should stay.
So we can't remember shit. So don't hold this against us on these podcasts, please.
Fuck you, jerks. Leave us alone.
Have some sympathy.
I am trying to get better at remembering shit. So I'm trying to slowly, especially some of the movies like this that I've seen 100 times. I took a couple notes of just shit that I specifically wanted to remember to talk about, but I'm trying to go through this movie from memory as best as I can.
Yeah.
Yeah. They are, you're at Makeout Point, whatever the fuck it's called.
Sexburg.
You get your introduction to the Terenzi brothers, who are just driving around trying to sell ice cream in the middle of the night, which is
saying some very
sexually
explicit things.
So good. I just love the idea that they are apparently ice cream men that only work at 9 o'clock at night.
It's a great schedule.
Yeah, I mean,
want ice cream, honestly, so
yeah, and you're pretty much the only ones in that market, so
yeah.
My favorite part about this whole scene is when you're introduced to Mike and Debbie, who are in the back of a car making out on an inflatable boat. Which is like such a weird detail.
Literally nothing more romantic.
Yeah, I mean,
on an inflatable boat in the back of a car on top of a hill.
Also practical in case there's just a flash flood while you're making out.
True. God decides he's going to flood the world again. You're ready.
Debbie sees, I guess Mike does too, but sees what they think is a comet or shooting star go by. They kind of decide to go investigate or what it is after Debbie kind of prods Mike into going. You then cut to this pretty fucking stellar old man and his dog just overacting like fucking crazy, who also sees it and goes to investigate and finds this giant circus tent in the middle of the woods.
Totally normal.
Yeah, I mean, that's usually where most circuses are held, because, again,
where the clowns live.
Clowns are gross murderers. They're kind of like, this old man and his dog are kind of like investigating the tent. One of the clowns, like, does this weird effect where he could just, like, put a hole in the tent, reach through, and, like, get the dog, and then just, like, put the tent back together. The old man turns around and realizes his dog is gone and just starts, like, screaming at the tent and punches it, which rules.
What was it that he says? He's just, like, screaming about them taking his dog, and he, just, like, with a fury, he's like, I'll tear the whole damn place down if I have to. And then he grabs the, like, some wire, and it just zaps him immediately.
It's what is supposed to be, like, the rope holding the tent up, but it's obviously, like,
electrified.
Yeah.
Like it's clearly not something you should grab.
Yeah. It essentially looks like the electric fence shit from Jurassic Park. After he kind of electrocutes himself, one of the clowns shows up and just, like, zaps the shit out of this old man. And you get, like, your first real look at the clowns, like, their puppet heads or whatever, and it looks amazing still, like I said earlier. Like,
just so weird.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's that perfect, like, just alien enough, you know?
Like, the heads are huge, mostly, I'm assuming, because of, like, the mechanical shit inside. It'd be interesting to see, like, if this movie was made today, like, what they would look like, but, like, the huge head makes them look extra creepy, but then they have this, like, old, withered look to it.
Yeah.
Especially when
they've been sitting in storage for a while.
Yeah,
which
yeah.
adds to it. They look all just kind of old and crinkly.
The one that is usually used for, like, the covers of, like, the DVDs and Blu-rays that has, like, the one kind of, like, half-closed eye.
Yeah.
Is, like, my favorite, because he just looks like an old beat-up, like... It looks like an old beat-up mask. But, yeah, they're all kind of, like, wrinkly, and they look like slightly deteriorated, and it just makes them look legitimately weird. I love it. And, like, again, like, the puppetry is... for the 80s, like, astounding, but still, like, just looks, like, fucking pretty great 30-something years later. After this old man gets kind of fucking zapped out by this clown, you cut back to Mooney at the police station, who is harassing some fucking goth punk kids he, like, arrested at the park.
What a dick.
Yeah, no shit. The Mooney, in general, just seems like a fucking asshole.
But he's perfect. Like, every line he delivers, because he's such an ornery old fuck.
He's, like... I should have looked a little bit more into what his, like filmography is, because, like, I feel like he's probably in a lot of shit. Like, he seems like a very good character actor.
Yeah.
I could see him just being in, like, just a fuck ton of, like, TV shows and stuff. It's just, like, little bit, especially, like, bit roles and shit like NYPD Blue or whatever.
He was the mayor in Dirty Harry.
Oh, shit. Is he still alive?
Uh, no, he died in 2005.
Oh wow. I mean, yeah,
He was a Tesla trooper in Command and Conquer Red Alert 2.
Huh.
That's fantastic. And he was the voice of Shao Kahn in the Mortal Kombat TV series from 1996.
The cartoon.
Yeah,
Nice.
Defenders of the Realm.
Well, that's pretty much the only credit you need.
Rupert Thorne in Batman the Animated Series.
Oh, no shit.
Yeah.
That's amazing. I remember like one of the credit, like I was just kind of like scrolling through credits kind of quickly, and I remember seeing somebody from this movie and like a bunch of Batman the Animated stuff, and I bet it had to have been him. I think there was like a Mask of the Phantasm showed up in one of them.
Ernest connection. He was Sherman Crater in Ernest Goes to Camp.
Oh shit, he is. This is the best fucking actor of all time.
Yep. We had no idea.
From now on, this whole podcast is just going to be about John Vernon. We're only doing John Vernon movies.
I'm super down with that.
So Mooney has arrested these fucking goth punk kids for essentially walking through the park with a bottle of wine.
Bastards.
Yeah. Fucking hoodlums.
Unbelievable.
He's kind of having an argument with Dave, who is another police officer, about, like, going overboard with his police work, I guess. You cut back to Mike and Debbie, who are now at the woods trying to follow wherever this shooting star / comet went to, and Mike does a very not great Native American impression.
Yeah.
I mean, there had to have been something in here.
There were a couple of things that he had done, like in that little segment whenever they are going to the tent.
Yeah.
I forgot what, but there was 2 or 3 in a row where I was like, wow, alright.
I mean, again, 1988, you can't really expect... This one is pretty fucking tame compared to a lot of the other shit we've done.
Yes, this is like basically it, right? At least as far as I remember.
Yeah, I think pretty much everything else just, like, after they kind of realize these clowns are there, it's just a lot of goofy shit with the clowns.
Yeah.
Mike and Debbie kind of come across the tent and go inside because they're smart. They realize that this tent was the shooting star they saw, like, and something kind of weird is going on, and they stumble across the cotton candy cocoons and find somebody inside. I forget, like, some guy in town they know. John Lombardo, I think that's who they say it is.
Should have been John Leguizamo.
Holy
that would
shit.
have been wild.
Been the fucking best reveal in this movie.
My God.
Just pops out and starts doing the song from the past.
It's cotton candy covering his penis instead of the soap bubbles.
Oh, that'd been phenomenal. Eventually, they kind of get spotted by one of the clowns and get kind of chased through the ship and shot with a popcorn gun, which seems like a pretty awesome weapon to be shot with until later in the movie.
According to Wikipedia, it was the most expensive prop in the film.
I mean, yeah, I guess I could see that because it's like it's got to be like a functioning thing.
Yeah.
I don't know, I feel like Clownzilla at the end like had to have been pretty fucking expensive. But
he was mostly a miniature, right?
no, that's a real person in there, so they had to
okay.
like blow up everything else, or
I'll say
down everything else.
When you very first see him, you can see the like strings attached to his arms.
Yeah, that's like, I don't think that's to be up. Like, I think that's like something that's supposed to be like holding him in place to the ship, or whatever.
Okay.
Like,
yeah.
That's one of the Kyoto brothers in this suit. Yeah, we'll get to that later because that whole fucking part is amazing. Mike and Debbie kind of flee covered in this popcorn from the popcorn gun. The clowns chase them down a little bit, and then one of them makes a balloon animal dog.
The best gag in the movie.
It's fucking amazing.
Oh my god. I laugh myself almost to tears every time.
I think this and the puppet show in the park are my favorite too.
Yes.
But he creates this like balloon dog animal that then helps them, like a real dog, like track
like a
them down.
bloodhound.
It's fucking amazing. The clown gags in this movie are all pretty top notch. Mike and Debbie make it back to their car and get chased down by the clowns, and then they just fucking smash into a bunch of the clowns with their car and take off. Debbie,
Smart.
yeah, I mean, I feel like most people should do that if they come across clowns in real life. So.
If you see a clown, run it down.
Yeah, because
That's the saying I was always taught.
Oh, that's all I'm putting for the fucking description of this episode on iTunes. I mean, based on the movies we've watched, all clowns are aliens from outer space, so...
That 100% true.
Yeah. Debbie wants to go to the cops. Mike is kind of goaded by her into going, and they show up, and Mike driving this fucking car of his just smashes into everything at the police station when they pull up. And they tell Dave about the clowns, and obviously Dave is just like, you guys are fucking idiots. I don't know what you're talking about, but goes with them anyway. You get this quick, like, this whole, like, the clown outside of the drugstore doing the kind of robot impression is pretty choice. All of the shit at the drugstore rules. Because you cut back to this drugstore a couple times, and it's like two clowns that are just kind of ransacking this drugstore, looking for stuff, I guess. But like, you get this like dumb gag of like one of them pulls out shaving cream and like sprays the other one in the face, and it makes that like real stupid like the noises they make as they're talking. And, I don't know, it's pretty fucking funny. And then like you like eventually you get like the shop owner calling Mooney at the police station to be like, I think something's going on here, as this like one clown with this fucking like sideways baseball hat on that like always makes me laugh, just piling a bunch of shit to buy at the drugstore. It's real stupid.
That's like the owner's just like, I think something weird's happening. It's like, what took you so long to come to that conclusion, sir?
Yeah, these two giant fucking clowns are just smashing everything in your store.
For like at least 10 minutes.
Oh, easily. You have like you cut back to Mooney and Dave arguing about the clowns, if I remember correctly, like basically that like he's gonna go with Mike and Debbie to investigate this, and Mooney's just like, you're a fucking idiot. This is when you get the puppet show in the park.
Yes.
That is just fucking amazing. Of this one dude in like a foyer at the park watching this puppet show and just fucking like laughing his ass off. Because
it's the best thing he has ever seen.
He is absolutely super high. He's watching this puppet show that eventually like all of the walls of it or whatever fall apart, and it's like one of the clowns that shoots him with their little laser gun that turns him into a cotton candy cocoon. You cut back to more of the drugstore shit. And you cut to Mike, Debbie in the car with Dave, who is apparently into Debbie, even though she's dating Mike, and it's weird and gross. Dave seems kind of like a creeper, and it makes it even worse that he's a cop. Then you get like this montage, a little bit of the clowns like delivering shit to people's houses, like the pizza clown, and then the one that delivers the like candy.
I don't know why, but at least they're keeping busy out there.
Yeah, I mean they gotta have jobs too.
Yeah.
I would
Domino's hired that clown.
I would burn my house down and then flee the city if like I ordered pizza and this fucking clown delivered it to me.
I'm never opening my door if there's a clown holding pizza.
Or I would just open it and just like hit the clown with a baseball bat and take the pizza, and then I'll immediately shut the door.
Pizza's tainted.
Yeah, I guess that's true. It's got clown germs on it.
Yeah, who knows what that clown's done to that pizza?
Somebody's gonna listen to this episode and yell at us. Like, I'm a clown, sir, and
I don't want any clown apologists listening to this podcast.
I am gonna murder both of you.
That just seems rude.
Yeah. Dave decides that he doesn't want Debbie to go investigate with him and Mike, and they drop her off at home. And Mike and Debbie have this back and forth about Dave being into her, and it's just kind of nonsense backstory that doesn't really need to be here, because it doesn't really go anywhere after this. Mike and Dave go on their own to find the tent they saw earlier. This is when you cut back to, like, I think the drugstore with the clown, like, trying to buy shit. It was, like, my favorite thing. When Mike and Dave make it back to the woods, the tent is gone and there's just, like, a big hole in the ground. And,
totally normal.
Yeah. Which Dave is just like, oh, you're telling me a fucking circus tent put this big hole in the ground? You're under arrest, you liar. Like... So Dave, like, handcuffs Mike, and you cut to this fucking amazing scene of the clown riding up on his little bike to a bunch of bikers.
Oh my god, yes.
It's so fucking good. This clown rolls up on these bikers, and the bikers are kind of harassing him. And there's one...
Because the one biker asks if he can ride his little bike, and the clown tells him no. So he just immediately goes into super dick mode.
Well, then he asks, like, can I honk the horn or something? And I think the clown says yes, and then instead he picks up the bike and just smashes it.
Yeah.
The clown then, like jumps off, or, like, jumps in the air or something. I forget what exactly he does, but he returns with boxing gloves on. And does that whole, like
shadow boxing, kind of
like 1930s like boxing shit, where he's like threatening to box this biker, and the biker says something like, oh, go ahead, like, knock my block off, and the clown punches him and just knocks his head straight into a trash can.
Absolutely delivers on that.
Which is 100% where Jason Goes to Manhattan or whatever got it from, I'm assuming. Any
time you have a gag where someone just uppercuts another person's head off straight into a dumpster, sold.
Yeah, 100%.
The best. I want it in every movie. Fight Club should have had that happen.
Oh, shit.
Jaws.
Just fucking knocked Jared Leto's head straight off. Jaws, like, the shark's got boxing gloves on and just, like, punches the shit out of fucking,
just uppercuts Quint. His head flies straight off into a dumpster in the middle of the ocean.
Oh my god. That should have been... If that was in Jaws 4, it would have been better than the first movie. Fuck. I'm just thinking of every movie that could be in now that just would make zero sense, but just make it a perfect movie. After this scene, it cuts back to Big Top Burger and this fucking creepy ass clown trying to, like, get this little girl to come outside, which is very gross and creepy. Which I don't know how none of the parents in this place noticed this giant fucking clown playing peekaboo with this little girl and trying to lure her outside with a giant mallet. I
Just
also
a normal Wednesday night in the suburbs.
I am very upset you never got to see that mallet like come into play. I just fucking not. It didn't even have to be with this little girl. It should have just came back like sometime later and just smashed some dude with this giant mallet. But this little girl almost makes it outside and is stopped by her mom as they're like out the door, who still does not notice this fucking clown. Mike and Dave drive up to Makeout Point and see all of the cars there are empty and covered in cotton candy. Dave now believes something is going on and like uncuffs Mike. Like, and now he notices.
Yeah. Oh man, this is weird.
I don't know. That giant hole wasn't suspicious at all, but there's cotton candy everywhere, so now I believe you. Back at the police station, Mooney is getting a bunch of calls about clowns. I think this is the point when you see the drugstore clown in the fucking hat, because one of my notes was just drugstore clown and hat fucking rules. That fucking the sideways hat, I don't know why, but it just fucking makes me laugh every time. There is a quick scene of the clown that is driving where his shoes are like the lights, and it's just kind of like chasing down some other car where he's like beside it or whatever. And I guess this was originally supposed to be the opening of the movie, where like the first thing you would have seen was this fucking clown driving next to this car, even though he's not in anything, and his just like weird shoes or headlights. And I get something happened where I think they just couldn't get the effect right, so they just added it to the middle instead of making it the opening. Because I guess when this clown knocks the car off the road, it was supposed to like drive off the road and kind of like smash into the ground, and ended up like whatever wires they had attached to the car were not connected properly, so the car fell before it was supposed to, and just like landed and got stuck in this tree. So like you see it in the movie where it hits the ground, and I think instead of like flipping over and landing on its top, it just kind of goes straight down off this hill. And
yeah.
It's like it like hits like, face first, and then just like falls sideways and just lands and gets stuck in this tree. Which, I mean, it still works. Like, not knowing that fact, it still looks like it fits in with the movie, I guess.
Yeah.
But I guess for whatever reason they weren't really happy with how it turned out and decided to not make it the opening. I think this is when you cut to Debbie, who is getting in the shower at her house, and it's just like leaving popcorn everywhere. Like, I don't know why you wouldn't have like fucking got all that shit off you earlier.
This scene freaked me out so much.
Yeah, she's getting in the shower, and like all the popcorn is on the ground, and you see it kind of moving a little bit, and you cut back to Big Top Burger, where there's a clown pouring popcorn in the dumpster, and you kind of cut back in between this dumpster and Debbie's like bathroom a couple times to show that like this popcorn is something
evil.
Some guy at the dumpster goes to throw trash in there and hears a noise in it and opens it and gets like sucked in and killed or something. And you see like Debbie's hamper, where like all of her clothes were covered in the popcorn, is kind of like reacting to whatever this popcorn is supposed to be. I think this is when you get the clown doing the hand puppet show, which is a fucking amazing. Actually, this is probably my favorite part of the movie. It's fucking so good.
I'll say this one has my favorite gag.
You see like this group of people at a bus stop, and this clown shows up and starts doing like a hand puppet show with his shadow on the wall. and like all of his hand movements are like the most basic thing, and then it's like George Washington crossing the Delaware, and like a lady doing a striptease or some shit. And then he turns it into like as Mike and Dave drive by and see the clown there, he turns it into like a dinosaur that the shadow then eats the people
with glowing eyes.
Oh my god, it's so good. This is one of the times that I like specifically wrote down like the effects in this movie hold up so well, because it obviously it looks cheesy because it is a real stupid idea, but like it doesn't look.
It's cheesy in a perfect way.
Yeah, like if they did it now, it would all be like weird CGI and would look real fake, but it doesn't really look fake in this. Like it looks, I don't even know how they did it, but it looks practical, I guess is the best way I could put it. Like I don't know, it's like it's one of my favorite effects in the movie besides like the puppet kind of costumes, like the clown costumes. It just it works so well. As Mike and Dave see this, like Mike swerves the car to try and like run into the clown that just kind of like flies up into the air. I think this is when you get the Terenzi brothers again, who are fleeing something and crash into a building. I can't remember exactly what they're fleeing from. I'm guessing it was something with the clown, some unseen thing with the clowns. And Mike and Dave, I think, come across them and are like ask them for help with whatever, you know, going after these clowns. And this was like the first time I think I noted, like, why are these dudes selling ice cream in the middle of the night? It's like at this point, this movie has to be like midnight at least.
They've been at it for a while now.
Like
selling this ice cream late.
Who in this fucking little town is still out at midnight that's going to be buying ice cream? It's not like
Clowns.
Ugh, that's horrifying to think you'd be selling ice cream and just like these clowns show up. You cut back to Mooney at the police station, who is confronted by one of the clowns, is just like at the police station, who then sprays him in the face with some spritzer because he's a clown. I think my only note was just clown hijinks ensue.
I like how much of this movie is like there's not really any plot. It's just clowns like clowning around.
Yeah, I would say like the middle 30 or 40 minutes is essentially just the clowns running about town,
clown
like,
montage,
doing shit, and it is amazing. Mooney goes he handcuffs this clown, who then just like has his hands fall off to get out of the cuffs. Mooney like puts him in the cell with these goth punk kids, who like I can't think of the name of it, like whatever this thing would be. Like Mooney hits the clown with his billy club, and the clown's head just spins around like Exorcist style. So Mooney like immediately locks him in this cell, and the clown, oh fuck, what's this thing called? Where he like blows into it and like rolls out and grabs him. I can't think of what the name of those things are. It's like one of those party favors you blow in and it like just rolls out and makes a noise.
What the fuck is that thing called?
Yeah, I can't think of at all. Like I've been thinking about it since I watched it earlier, and I just like don't know what it's called. But yeah, it's just one of those party favors you blow into, and the thing kind of just rolls out and like makes a noise. But at the end of it is like a hand that grabs Mooney and pulls him into the cell, smashing his head into the cell. And you cut to Debbie's hamper going crazy again. Cut back to I think Dave showing up at the jail and seeing clown footprints everywhere, and goes back into where their holding cells are at and sees the cotton candy cocoons of the two goth kids. and goes back out into like their main, like where all the desks are at, and I'm just realizing how much puppets are in this fucking movie. The clown's sitting in like one of the chairs using Mooney as a puppet. It's like doing something and says something along the lines with the puppet of, "Don't worry, Dave, all we want to do is kill you." And then just like the clown pulls his hand out of Moody and it's like covered in blood. And Dave immediately starts shooting the clown, which has no effect until he shoots it in the nose. And this, like, the clown turns into this weird, like, light tornado thing and then it explodes. So Dave now realizes if you shoot them in the nose, they will die. The weird light effects of this movie are also pretty great. There's a couple of them that happen where, like, shit happens and there's, like, this weird special light effect that happens. You cut to the Terenzi brothers and Mike coming across this weird like clown parade as they're just like sucking up people with their in like the cotton candy cocoons that they're just like stealing from around town. I still am not sure what the point is of the cotton candy cocoons.
I don't have any idea.
Like, I've watched this movie so many times. I guess, but like it seems like, I don't know, like, you know how like a lot of the times it'll be something like that. They're just like, oh, we need this like to power our ship or whatever. Like, you never really get any explanation, as far as I can tell, of what these clowns are doing. Debbie at this point is when Kit's favorite scene happens and is attacked by all these weird like baby clown heads on these giant long necks that are just...
I hate it. I hate it still.
Like, essentially the popcorn turns into fucking weird clown babies.
I can't trust hampers anymmer.
I mean, you should.
Never could.
Just throw your shit on the ground. Just live in a pigsty all the time.
Wallow in my own filth.
Yeah, like these clown head things like always just remind me of Ted Raimi as like the old lady fucking monster in Evil Dead 2 when her head just like comes way out on the neck. The clowns show up at Debbie's house and like trap her in this fucking balloon, which is a weird sentence.
It's an extremely clown thing to do.
The Terenzi brothers and Mike are now chasing the clowns because they realize they have Debbie. So they're like in the Terenzi brothers ice cream truck, like chasing down these clowns. Dave comes driving by in his police car and sees them and starts giving chase. And there is an accident where Dave like smashes into the back of the ice cream truck. You cut to the amusement park, which is when the movie gets kind of super good, because everything at this point, like all of the shit at the amusement park, like scenery wise, is kind of amazing. And then like you get like, it's like not necessarily special effects as much as like the costumes, I guess, but like I don't know, everything at the amusement park, and then when you get inside like what I guess is the ship, just kind of looks fucking really good. The clowns with Debbie and the balloon pull up at like a fun house, and a security guard is just like, you guys can't be here, we're closed. And like you get this quick scene of like the clowns all getting out of their car, and it's like that clown car gag where just like 30 of them pile out of this tiny car, and then immediately murder the security guard by just pelting him with a bajillion pies.
Burying him in pie.
Oh, it's so
that
good.
Poor son of a bitch.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm gonna die, I want to go out by pies.
He's like, you can't have that pie here, and then it's just like non-stop. Just pies being hurled at him.
You can't have that pie here.
Well, guess what, fucker?
Like, you're at a fucking amusement park in the open, like, air. You're not, like, anywhere. Like, it's not like you're at a church. The Terenzi brothers, Mike and Dave, show up in the ice cream truck at the fun house. And I think, like, the Terenzi brothers immediately start, like, no qualms about, like, tasting this fucking whipped cream pile on the fucking ground. That I think one, like, Mike or Dave is just like, there's, like, a dead guy in there. You should probably not eat that. They all enter the fun house and they have kind of like a conversation, just kind of general about where they think the clowns are from and some
Spoiler alert: outer space.
yeah. If you haven't gathered by now, I think Mike or somebody starts talking about like ancient alien theory shit, and it's very ahead of its time. It's
He knows.
oh yeah, it's these clowns built the pyramids.
Flat clown theory.
One of the Terenzi brothers is a genius and just starts like pressing on shit in this fucking spaceship and hits a button and some kind of weird thing happens, and then all of a sudden the Terenzi brothers fall down like a trap door and land in this ball pit with two like lady clowns. And immediately are just fucking horny as shit, and they're just like, "Are you Debbie's roommates?"
Just so willing to fuck lady clowns immediately.
I believe they did fuck these lady clowns, because when you see them later,
Oh, 100%.
They're covered in like the lipstick marks. So
Yes.
these two dudes fucked these alien lady clowns. It's the only scene in the movie that should have been filmed. That didn't. Like. It's just funny when they fall through the like this trap door, and like Dave and Mike turn around and they're not there. And Mike's just like, "It's the Terenzi brothers. They do this shit."
Yeah, it happens. Whatever.
They fucking disappear all the time. Mike realizes as they get into like some hallway that they are in the tent from earlier. I think this is when they stumble upon the room just filled with those cotton candy cocoons, and they're trying to find Debbie as some clown comes in and is like investigating one of the cocoons, where he's like tapping on it to see if it's like fucking ripe or some shit, and jams a crazy straw into it and just sucks some sort of juice out of it. So I'm guessing they're just drinking all of the people in these cocoons.
Just drinking their blood or some shit.
Making just sugary blood.
Yeah. Why not, right?
I mean, I try it. It's just, I don't know. All the shit with these cocoons is just fucking weird and never explained. This clown eventually leaves, and Mike and Dave find Debbie in this balloon and get her out of it. Like at some point as they're escaping, the clowns come across them and start chasing them through this spaceship. Dave kind of takes out at least one of them by like shooting him in the nose. They come across like a fireman pole to like escape and slide down. That like they get off one floor early because there's some giant fucking monster at the bottom of it, which seems like not great if you're one of the clowns that has to use this fireman pole.
You gotta remember what level to get off on.
Yeah. My one note in like this entire scene was, this tent seems pretty fun, to be honest. You know, like fireman pole with monsters and hit buttons and shit happens. Seems like a pretty cool fun house. This is one of those things, like, you know how during like Halloween they have those like amusement parks like that will do like the Walking Dead experience, or like this is, you know, like specific ones. I don't know why they haven't done one that's like the Killer Clowns like spaceship.
God, I want that. I want that to be real.
I would fly to California at whatever amusement park does this shit and go to it. It would be amazing. I think this is when you get the scene that's like they come across a door that then has another door, and then another door, and then like another door that just keeps getting smaller. That is perfect clown nonsense. But as they're getting chased, they come across all these doors. I finally get to one that actually opens into the next room, and they like barricade themselves in there, and it is like this giant room with kind of like platforms, and as they're in this room and they've kind of like barricaded themselves in, just like 50 clowns fucking show up, and they climb on top of this like big platform to kind of get away from these clowns that are coming after them, as the Terenzi brothers just crash in with their fucking ice cream truck.
As one does.
I'm guessing this is like the middle of this spaceship, so I don't know how the fucking Terenzi brothers got in there with their ice cream truck. But they crash in, and their ice cream truck has this giant clown on it, so they're yelling through the loudspeaker, pretending to be like this clown. So all the other clowns are kind of like listening and back off, and then all of a sudden they all kind of like hear or like sense something, and they all like just like disappear as Clownzilla shows up, which is number one, should be the name of the sequel.
Absolutely.
And like also the best monster in this movie. It's fucking pretty awesome. I'm not like, I know I watched, there's like a bunch of behind the scenes shits on the Blu-ray I have that like goes into a lot of like the effects and making of, and like there's a lot of shit about how they filmed this, but it is like it's one of the two, like the Kyoto brothers like in the costume, and so it's like, you know, it's like a person size, just like slightly bigger, which means they had to like blow up everything else to make it look like realistic, and then I guess do some kind of like forced perspective thing to make it look like everybody else is smaller in the foreground. But Clownzilla comes down and is attached to like puppet strings, like attacks the ice cream truck and just fucking like throws it across the room, and it just like explodes.
Anytime a vehicle can nonsensically explode, like, I'm super there for it.
Yeah, like my favorite thing is
don't explode like that.
Yeah, my favorite thing is shit in movies that explodes that like wouldn't in real life. Even to the point where you have like nonsense and kind of like comedy horror movies where it'll just be like a mailbox tips over and fucking like bursts into flames or some shit.
Oh my god.
After they throw the truck, I forget how they escape. I think Mike and Debbie just kind of fucking take off, and like Dave, I think, is like attacking Clownzilla.
I think so.
Yeah, something like that. For some reason, my memory is just the next thing is like Mike and Debbie fleeing. I can't remember exactly what Dave does at this point. But I think Dave is like doing something to attack this giant clown monster. Mike and Debbie eventually make it out of the ship, and as they are, and they're kind of running, a bunch of cops show up, and they like turn around as this tent starts spinning to take off, and as it gets kind of in midair, it explodes and starts like, I don't know, there's like fucking confetti or some shit falling out of the sky, but like a clown car comes just fucking crashing down near them, and like Dave is inside it. And then, the Terenzi brothers just show up, and they're just like covered in fucking melted ice cream, because you find out they hid in like the freezer of the ice cream truck.
Smart. It's quick thinking.
As they're all kind of like, oh, it's finally over, like we're safe now, a bunch of pies fall from the sky and just like smash into them, and it's just like the end.
And then cue the theme song.
Yes, they should play the theme song like 10 times during this movie. Would have made it that much better. I think originally Dave and the Terenzi brothers were meant to die in the movie. I believe Dave specifically, I think the Terenzi brothers, but like I guess whoever was going to release it was just like, no, it should be like a more upbeat ending so like everybody lives. Which I guess works out for now that they're doing a sequel, but
Yeah, it's great now.
yeah. So I guess they had to like I guess it was supposed to just be like they were all like the Terenzi brothers died when the truck exploded, and then like Dave was supposed to just like die when the the tent ship explodes. But I don't know. That's this movie. It's fucking the best.
Awesome.
It's super cheesy in like the best way.
Just buy it.
This is
Just straight up buy it.
I mean, there's not even a question. Like if I mean, I'm honestly like anybody that's listening to this has probably seen this movie. Like if you're into horror movies at all, this is a movie that's probably on your radar of some sort, because it's like pretty much the epitome of like cult classic movie. I did not get a chance to look at much news. Pretty much all I care about at this point, you kind of mentioned last week or the week before, since we're recording 2 this week, the Bill and Ted 3.
Yeah.
Which is fucking all I care about. I've been waiting for this fucking movie for so long.
So long.
And then, like, I think they officially announced that, like, William Sadler or whatever is going to be in it, reprising the Grim Reaper.
As Death.
Fucking rules. And I think I saw something where one of the writers, somebody had asked about, like, you know, George Carlin is dead, so, like, what's the plan there? And they were just like, well, Rufus has a daughter. And, like,
oh, hell yeah.
I'm wondering if they're going to cast, I think her name's Kelly Carlin, like George Carlin's daughter.
Yeah.
Which would be fucking amazing. I don't know, have you seen anything news-wise lately?
No, not really.
Yeah.
It's been pretty slow horror movie news-wise.
I was like, pretty much everything right now has been Us and Pet Sematary.
Yeah.
As far as I could tell. I mean, you saw Us. Do you want to give kind of like a brief, non-spoilery reaction to it?
Yeah, it'll be brief because I don't want to say shit. Because the less you know going into it, the better. But it's fantastic, and if it's playing around you, go see it in a theater with an audience.
I might try and see it Friday when I'm off work, because I finally got to go see something, but like I had to go see Captain Marvel first.
Right. Yeah. I don't think Us is as good as Get Out. I mean, I feel like Get Out's a masterpiece.
Yeah.
But Us feels a little less focused, but it also is more
weird,
grandiose. Like it kind of has a. I'm trying to think of what I'm trying to say. Like it's got a much grander view, you know, of things, much more big picture. Whereas Get Out was a very tight, focused little story.
It seems like a lot of the reactions I've been seeing is like it's a movie that like everyone's just like 3 days later is like, I can't stop thinking about this movie.
Yeah,
like,
it's been about a week, I guess, since I saw it. Yeah. And I mean, I still think about it every day, and I cannot wait to go see it again.
Yeah, it seems like a lot of the stuff I've seen. As people are just kind of like, I don't know, like I saw it, I can't stop thinking about it. I still don't necessarily know what I saw, and I need to see it again.
Yeah, there's a lot of things that I think you'll pick up on a rewatch that you'll be like, that makes sense now.
Yeah, God, I can't wait to see it. But I'm still like, I still haven't watched Hereditary. I still haven't watched A Quiet Place. Still haven't seen Suspiria. Like. Oh, it's just taking me for fucking ever to see shit. But I think Amazon Prime is picking up Suspiria.
They should be pretty soon.
Yeah, I think it was in April or May.
Yeah, since it's an Amazon Studios picture or whatever.
So I'm fucking. That's the fuck. I will watch that like immediately. Hereditary, like I don't know, I'll watch it eventually, but it wasn't like high on my list. Neither was like A Quiet Place, but Suspiria, I fucking have been dying to see. Um, yeah, I need to go see Us. It looks amazing. And then, have you seen like any of the trailers for Jordan Peele's Twilight Zone yet?
No, not yet.
They released like, I think the first episode is like, the classic like 30,000 feet.
Yeah.
Or whatever, like whatever the fucking William Shatner one, Gribbling on the Plane one is.
Yeah.
But it's got Adam Scott being like doing William Shatner's part.
Oh fuck yes,
Which
I'm
like,
so in.
It looks like the thing that I fucking love about it, and what bums me out is I'm not gonna be able to watch it until hopefully it gets released on some kind of physical media, because I think it's only airing on like CBS's like streaming platform.
Oh.
What like all I ever see is that it's streaming on like their all access thing, which I think you have to pay for.
Yeah.
But I mean, I can't imagine they wouldn't release it as like on DVD or Blu-ray at some point. But
yeah,
like it looks like he's hiring a shit ton of like comedians, because I think like Kumail Nanjiani, I think that's his name. Adam Scott, like it's like the one trailer I saw that had like clips from everything. Like it looks like they're doing a lot of the classic ones. Like I think one of them is the one where like the dude's like, I got all the time in the world to read now, and then his like glasses break, and but it looks like he's like using all comedians for the most part for these like kind of dark tales, which I'm like very into. Just more Jordan Peele doing shit in the world.
More Jordan Peele, everything.
Yes.
All the time.
He's behind the Candyman remake too, isn't he?
I believe he's producing it.
Oh, fucking, I'm in. You just attach Jordan Peele's name, I'm gonna fucking go see it.
Yeah, pretty much.
I will watch it. They won me over perfectly with those football player sketches. The fucking best thing ever.
It's all Hingle McCringleberry.
Yes, fudge.
Construction noises.
Oh, yes. You can follow us on Twitter at I Hope You Suffer, Facebook at I Hope You Suffer Pod, Instagram at I Hope You Suffer Podcast, email I Hope You Suffer Podcast at gmail.com. We're recording this early. This one won't be up for like a week and a half or 2 weeks or something like that, because I'll be out of town. But I think whenever the next episode we do, I'm gonna have like a contest for some of those buttons and shit. Probably something like, oh, like leave us a review on iTunes and just like email me and I'll fucking send you some buttons or some shit. But I don't know. I think the plan for the next episode after this one will be Tsunami.
Oh yeah.
Which I cannot fucking wait to watch.
Same.
But yeah, I think that, and then I think we're gonna do The Dentist the week after that.
God, yes.
And then we'll have to, like, I think the plan for after that is Carousel and then President Wolfman, but we gotta make sure those are actually like fucking streaming still.
Yeah, still on there.
We did all the Stephen King ones. It's like, oh, these are all streaming like everywhere, and then all of a sudden they were gone.
Nope.
So tentatively, that's kind of the lineup. And I have an idea for May of possibly doing all remakes. Of just doing like 4 remakes of good movies. But
oh yeah.
I don't know. We'll have to see. Like,
let's do that terrible The Thing prequel.
Oh yeah, I haven't seen that yet.
Oh, it sucks ass.
I'm sure it does. I'm on board with watching that though for this, because it's probably the only way I'm going to. Then I'm sure the Fright Night remake is probably not good.
It's okay.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't like Colin Farrell.
I felt like he was the best part, so
really?
Yeah.
We'll figure something out, because there is a shit ton of garbage remakes, so.
Yes, that is correct.
Alright, I hope you suffer, but why?